set aside time every day. It's more of an ongoing conversation with God. I think of him as like talking to a friend, and so I may ask questions and wait. Sometimes I don't get an answer right away. I feel that he's saying wait and be still, and that happened particularly with the adoption process with Chris and I. We had always thought that adoption might be a possibility or something that our family should do, and after we had our fourth child, we knew that we would not be adding any more children to our family biologically, but eventually it became clear to us through prayer and listening to God that that is what his desire was for us. And it pretty much got to the point where we said, okay, God, okay, well, we will do it. And
prayer really affects my life and relationship with Christ, because every night I'm really wound up before I go to sleep from my day. And I would say from 5-minute or 20-minute prayer, depending on how my day has been, and if it was like more interesting and than boring. So, and that really calms me down and gets me ready to go to sleep. And it allows me to have a stronger relationship because I get to talk with him, God, and I get to, if it's something really important, a lot of times I feel him answer me. It's just really cool to feel that.
I feel at home, at peace, and loved at church. During worship services, Sunday school, and Bible studies, I'm nourished and strengthened. I also enjoyed many a women's retreat. I enjoy fellowship at the church with Wednesday night suppers, fundraisers, prime-timer activities, exercise class, coffee time, making chrismons and decorating the church for Christmas, and many other activities. I enjoy serving as a nursery worker, church treasurer, a member of the church council, and of the finance committee. I also enjoy serving on the Caring Connections committee. I have worked as chairman of the circle and president of United Methodist Women. I find that the more ways that I can serve, the more wonderful people God puts in my life. I'm so blessed to be an active member of a wonderful and loving church, Lexington United Methodist.
And the best thing I did, I guess, besides moving down here, was when I came to this church, the Methodist church here on Main Street in Lexington. And the first people I met as I came in, I sat down next to a couple of ladies, Elizabeth Brown and Sarah Fortner, and they had been talked to each other in church, but they'd never gone anywhere, done anything together. And so we became a threesome, and we did everything together. And Sarah Fortner was the one who got me into the Sunday school class. I joined the fellowship class. The people I've met have been wonderful, and mostly that's who my friends are, the people from the church here. And I think it was one of the best things I ever did was to come down here to this church. Of course, I was going to find a Methodist church anyway, but to come here was really wonderful. The people here are so generous and kind, and I couldn't be happier with the church than I have been here.
Okay, say something about the youth group, why you like it.
Alright, so I've been in the youth group since I could start off in 6th grade, and I've been in it for so long, and so many people have gone in and out of it. It's just always so much fun being able to see everyone each week, being able to be surrounded by people I can talk to and relate to on a spiritual level. And it's just always a good atmosphere. Everybody's nice and loving to each other, and it's just a real fun time all around. So
I teach 2 different classes of 2-year-olds, and generally when I tell people that I teach 2-year-olds, they're kind of taken aback, I guess, or I think it's hard for people to understand that might be awesome. which it really is. They're babies and they're sweet, and for a lot of them it's their first opportunity to come to school. And my favorite part of the day is greeting them at the door, because for 2-year-olds that's kind of a make or break moment. They have to walk away from mom or dad, and they have to know that they're going to somebody that is safe and that will love them. And I always want to make them feel super welcome, and I want them to know that I missed them, and that I'm happy that they're there that morning. Personally, I remember one time the bishop said that, an interaction with me, or with when two people have an interaction, it may be the only Bible that the other person ever reads. It may be their only opportunity to see God in somebody else. And so I kind of try to think about that each day.
I believe in serving outside the church walls because we're examples of Christ. Christ led his life to demonstrate the need to engage and to make personal connections with people in the community, especially those in need. He didn't just sit with the disciples and talk about church things and send them out. He actually went out himself. He traveled. He sought people in need. He led by example for us that we need to search those people too. Lexington United Methodist Church is made up of people, and it's just a building, but it's actually his church, and we are the hands and feet of Christ. So we're commanded by him to go out and to serve the people in the community.
I knew someone once who said to me that the people that we as humans would cross the street to avoid are the people that Christ would run across the street to embrace. And I think that we serve God and others best when we look for the people who are getting the least love in this world. And I really think that for me, service is very deeply rooted in Jesus' instruction to us about that which you do for the least of my people. I think that's how we best serve others and God, and when we are the best examples of that commandment that we got, and love one another. And that's it. Love one another. No caveats. It's a full hard stop there. Not love them as long as they do this, or only if they do this, or only if they say this. In doing that, if we are practicing that unconditional love and actively looking for people who need that love, I think we serve the church in that our actions are a living, breathing testament to what the church is really about.
I serve at Lexington as a youth group leader. I love working with our youth because not only are they funny and hysterical most of the time, they're all around really great kids. Honestly, I had a great youth leader as a youth in church growing up, and I just feel like it's my turn as an adult to return the favor and hopefully have an impact on our youth in our church.
I'd just like to say at Lexington United Methodist Church has brought me closer to God. They've given me a lot of knowledge. They've helped me through many things in my walk with Christ. And I would just like to thank the people here and thank the Lord most of all.
I knew I wanted to find a church for myself, but also for my children to grow up in as well. And the way I started my search was I looked at local churches' websites. And when I saw LUMC's website, the first thing I noticed was me young. And I thought to myself, if the heart of this church is big enough that this little Asian lady can be a pastor here, then this church's heart may be big enough for me and my family. So I actually started attending service on Tuesday nights. Once I got a feel for the church and the people, and I knew this is where I wanted to make my church home, I started bringing my kids and transitioned over to the regular Sunday service. And on our first Sunday there, Katie Vitters took us to CJ's Sunday school class and the nursery for Abby. And then she took me to what would be my Sunday school class. And it was in January, and it happened to be that night, the Faith Circle meeting, and Shannon Osborne invited me and took me to the circle meeting. And at the circle meeting, they were talking about planning for the women's retreat. and Katie Handel demanded that I sign up to go, and I did. So I had these 3 witnesses to me, shepherds, shepherding me into the church right off the bat, and I jumped in full force. And within the next few months, I started working with the Kids Way Kids on Wednesday nights. I signed up to be a Bible school teacher. I was just immediately welcomed in, and it enabled me to continue to share my faith. And the main thing about it that was wonderful is I have an interfaith marriage. My husband is Sikh, and everyone at the church has been supportive of us being actively involved and my children and I becoming members and celebrating, the 2 religious traditions that we're raising our children in. And it's just been a very supporting environment for them and for me.
Here at Lexington UMC, Patty and I engage in teaching, and that is our primary form of witness now. I treasure my Sunday school class. In that class, we witness to each other. Many people teach in that class, including me. We get different perspectives, but from the Bible, we witness to each other. Patty and I are also teaching a Disciple 1 Bible class right now. That's the 34-week first one, Disciple 1. And in this class, we are fortunate to have people of deep faith and commitment and service. Again, we witness to each other. I see the love of God in them, and I pray that they see the love of God in me as well. But Patty and I have led Disciple many times. We led Sunday school classes many times. Never before have we led a 4th and 5th grade Sunday school class. Here at Lexington, we're doing that. And I can tell you that when we started, I thought to myself, well, how hard can this be? I've led Disciple with adults. Oh no. These are smart kids. They ask hard questions, but they are energetic, they're engaged, they love to read the Bible. And I can tell you right now that this church is in great hands with children such as these.